Do you think mentors are essential for entrepreneurial success? Why or why not?
Yes, most definitely. I'm a true believer that mentors are fundamental to your success. Every single successful person I've ever spoke to, ever been around, they've all been mentored. You got to remember, we're humans, we're naturally learners. We've been mentored from a very, very young age. You start football classes when you were young. You had a football coach. It's a different form of mentor, but it is a mentor. Mm-hmm. You start training, obviously going to a gym, personal trainer, mentor. You get an apprenticeship. You're learning from someone. That's a mentor. Now, when people decide to sidetrack and go off down their own path, that you need to learn from someone.
Yeah.
You need to learn from someone that's been there before, whether that's property, e-commerce, crypto. It doesn't matter which path you decide to go down, you have to have someone there to steer you the right way and keep you accountable and keep you on track. Because if not, don't get me wrong, if you're innovating in a new industry, pioneering in a new industry, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but you've just got to follow that blueprint other people have set as well. Because if it is a new industry, there'll be an industry that's very similar that you just need to follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
An example I could give is like deal sourcing and recruitment. Very similar. Very completely different industries, but very similar models.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
So if you just followed, because that's exactly how we scaled our deal sourcing business. We followed a recruitment blueprint, essentially, and then scaled it. But
you look at like Musk.
Yeah.
How's he going to have a mentor? He's literally pioneering a new age from electric cars. I've seen something that he's working on a flying car at the moment. So, and unless he's the only real person he's got is kind of NASA, essentially, to what it is that he's doing. So it's a bit difficult.
That's a debate in itself. But
yeah.
But Elon Musk is a generational talent. I believe he's probably the smartest human being on the planet that there is. I believe the only way Elon's actually going to get any smarter is just surrounding himself with the right people that are equally as smart as him, and then taking criticism and feedback from them on his new ideas and his new inventions. And then I suppose the power of AI might come into play as well.
Yeah, massive.
Obviously, AI is just technically everything on the internet in a brain. So he's got access to that, so he'll have access to powerful versions of AI, and I suppose that's going to help him throughout his path as well. But it's a great question. But going back to the actual question, I think it's absolutely crucial that people do have mentors when going down their entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, did you always see yourself as an entrepreneur, or did you kind of fall into it? How did it happen?
So I always knew that I was going to be something different. Not necessarily an entrepreneur. I had goals, and I've always achieved my goals whenever I set them. But it wasn't until sort of 2018 when I really sat down and I thought, you know what? Nothing's going to change unless I change it. I'm here laying bricks, making $1,000 a week. Great, it's $1,000 a week. But when the winter comes around, I'm probably making less than that. Well, I am. If it's snowing, I'm not making any money. If it's raining, I'm not making any money. If the forklift's out, I'm not making any money. So I knew I needed to build a vehicle that was going to generate income for me versus me actually going out and doing the hard labor to get paid. So
active income.
Yeah, active income instead of doing active income. So I always saw myself as different. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur at the start. Don't get me wrong, I always saw myself as a problem solver though. Yeah. That's what entrepreneurs are. I've always been able to solve the problems that have occurred in my life. So I suppose that's foundations to becoming an entrepreneur anyway.
Yeah, it's transferable skills.
Yeah, sure. It's a transferable skill. And I believe if you look up the definition of entrepreneur, it is someone that solves problems.
Yeah, I think it actually is. So it's in there.
Yeah. So yeah, it probably did kind of come naturally. I did have them traits of an entrepreneur, but it wasn't until about 18 to 19 years of age when I actually realized, right, this is for me. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to achieve. And then I went out and did it.
I mean, what was the mindset shift that you kind of had to go through to get yourself into that position to go, right, I'm working now, but then the next week I'm an entrepreneur? Like, what happens within that short space of time that just kind of changes it?
Accountability. Accountability is that mindset shift, because I was stood there on the building site and I thought to myself, right, why am I here? Hang on a minute. I applied for the job.
Yeah.
I turned up to the interview. I went to college. I applied for all these things. These all things happened because of me. It's not like I was forced here.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I just turned around and said, right, well, it's my fault I'm here. Now it's up to me to get out of it and get me to the position where I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, accountability is the answer for that. And I think that's absolutely massive and crucial for any entrepreneur or business owner or someone looking to do something amazing.
1,000,000%. I mean, do you believe that most people are cut out to be entrepreneurs, or is it only for a select few?
It's definitely only for a select few. I don't believe everyone's cut from the cloth that you need to be to become an entrepreneur. I don't think people are going to be able to handle the stress, handle the pressure, handle the expectations from everyone. I believe only a select few can do that. And you know what it is? It's down to you at the end of the day. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you believe you're cut out for it, chances are you probably are. But for the people that aren't cut out for it, they can't even comprehend the thoughts that go through our head. Or you can turn around and say to them, do you believe you'll ever be a millionaire? And they can't even comprehend how they're going to get to that point, other than, oh, we're going to win the lottery.
Yeah, you're right.
So, no, I don't think everyone's cut out for it. I believe we need people working in Starbucks. We need people working in McDonald's. We need people washing cars, because that's what makes the economy goes round at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't believe everyone's cut out for it.
Yeah. Brilliant answer. Do you believe you're where you are because of your mindset, or was there any external factors that kind of took place?
Do you know what? It's a bit of both, if I'm being totally honest. I think without your mindset, you're not going to be able to get anywhere in the first place. Well, when I say mindset, it's just subscribing to the right frames of mind, essentially, like being accountable, staying consistent, staying disciplined. These are all things you need to do to be able to get to where you want to be. But external factors, I mean, plenty of external factors brought me back. Plenty of external factors brought me forward. I mean, it just goes back down to that saying, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, think about it. If you're at home with your parents, there's your mum and your dad. You might have, let's just use me, for example. You're out on site. There's the people that you used to lay bricks with, and then maybe someone you go to a gym with, and then your best mate, okay? So maybe 2 out of the 5 people are actually benefiting your life. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to slate like your parents and everyone else, but they're not good factors when trying to become the person you need to be. You need to be surrounding yourself with people who are already there, or who are on that journey with you. So you have that positive peer pressure around you, that positivity around you, and that backing just to say, right, what you're doing is right, and go for it, essentially, versus being around them negative people, them naysayers.
Yeah, because they say, don't you, if you hang around with five broke people, you're going to be the 6th. If you hang around with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th.
Yep, exactly.
That's literally just facts. And I think some people find that a bit hard to kind of, articulate really, and think, well, how does that actually work? But it's such a simple thing that does work. I mean, we've implemented it into our lives, and you know what, the elevation's crazy just by making that small change. So yeah, if you weren't doing this, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
It's a great question. What is in if I weren't doing property, or if I weren't doing business?
Do you remember did you see that interview with Peter Crouch? I think he was on Graham Norton's show, and they said, what would you be if you weren't a footballer? And he said, a virgin. It just came into my head now when we were going through it. But I mean, what would you reckon you'd be doing if we weren't doing anything regarding our businesses or property, and you was just working in a job? What do you reckon you'd be doing?
I'd be going so hard in the boxing gym. That's what I'd be doing. If I had no money motivators or anything to say, right, you need to be, or sorry, you want to be doing this. Yeah, because I used to box when I was a lot younger, and it was a dream of mine to go on, become professional, become world champion. But that dream faded, and I feel like, and it got overclouded with the whole business entrepreneurial stuff, and then I really took focus to that, and then I stuck at that versus, because I knew the journey to a world champ is going to be a lot more difficult than to a millionaire, and equally I was never going to be able to get to this position. Well, initially, this is something I've never said before. One of the reasons I did start my journey and start the business is just because I wanted to be able to fund all my training and be able to train full time. But like I say, that never really happened, and I knew I weren't going to be successful as an athlete if I was having to lay bricks for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, because that's going to take a toll on your body at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was just sat here thinking. I was in my head. I was imagine right at the beginning of our journey, and you're trying to do that alongside it.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, it's like at the Samuel Leeds fight. I mean, I was training at 6 a.m, going to work, coming home, working on the business, and rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Like, I did not have time. That was not a healthy way to live. I mean, I reckon I was getting about 4 or 5 hours sleep a night. Bear in mind, I'm putting my body through rigorous training. Then I'm going and putting my body through more stress, working all the time, and then going through mental stress at the end of the day to get this new business up and off the ground.
Yeah, I'd say the mental stress definitely was a driving factor. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
It'd be buckle up because you're in for a ride. That is it. I don't think I wouldn't change absolutely anything. I'd just sit myself down and say, listen, you're going to be going on quite a long journey. Buckle in, because there's going to be some ups and downs, some highs and lows, and just don't give up. That's it. Well, I never did anyway, so just and maybe stay positive as well, because things do get tough, things do get bad, but you need to take that one grain of positivity that's in every situation. Doesn't matter how bad it is, there'll be some positivity you can take from it, and then view it through that perspective.